Welcome to Boars of Valor, and we're talking about this book, Unlocking the Tarot by Lisa Papez. I've had some other videos on it, and this is where I'm at as I approach chapter 4. Chapter 5. I've read up to I've done all the majors and minors, not the quartz. So I put together a little presentation, and we're just gonna pop that up on the screen. I don't know why I'm talking like this. Yeah, so here we are. Read with me, part 3. So basically, we're preparing to label the cards, not the course. As I said already, that Lisa separates them, and I'm really excited to get into that, but I kind of wanted to get through this first. And that, I hope that wasn't too loud. April kicked my ass, so that's why I was literally the entire month of April. This was on my to-do list, and it is May, so basically how I set this up was I wrote down all the keywords that I came across. The ones with stars have are the same ones that Lisa came up with. Excuse me. I feel like I'm gonna burp. There we go. Sorry, I just ate lunch, so I'm just a mess. The ones with stars are the same keyword that Lisa uses in this book, which we're all using. Let me know what your keywords were, or if you think mine are important. I also used key phrases because I do that. And sometimes I actually sing song lyrics to certain songs. However, those are things, I don't know why this is right there. Anyway, that was gonna annoy me all day. I sometimes will sing a song when I see a card, but that happens in the moment of the reading, and I honestly don't know if it's the same song all the time. It might be. Anyway, I went through each of the cards. We can slowly show that, kind of comparing and contrasting what words or phrases I've used to kind of see if there were any similarities. And you'll notice I wrote in pencil, if you look at the 7 of the major 7 and 8, I wrote in pencil where I saw similarities. So this would be, I took a picture of the 2 and then after edits. So as I was going through each comparison, I was just looking to see what things had similar literal words or had a similar vibe to them. So I went through everything I had written down, everything throughout the book, just to see what was similar. And so Lisa, I filmed this once before, and I'm trying to remember what I spoke about because honestly, this setup is really new for me. So hopefully you like it because I really don't want to do this again. Lisa recommends basically writing one keyword, and I obviously one key. She wants her recommendation. She's queen. Her recommendation is basically that each card gets one word. Of course, the thing under so one word for the card. Sorry, I just looked at the card. The deck I'm using has a lot of nudity. So one word for the card. Sorry for that. Oh my god. That, of course, was the fucking card that was on the top. Sorry, that was just really funny to me. Jump scare. Anyway, I have phrases that I like to use with some of my cards. So, I didn't listen. Which she recommends, do you. However, I do have some really, random things that I use as phrases, Plato's Cave allegory for the devil. I have a Substack article on that. I can and am kind of hoping to eventually make a video on it. The article is kind of a hot mess because I just like needed all those thoughts out of my brain, and I have like a research book reading needs to get done, potential second edition of that thought process pending in my brain. There's so many thoughts pending in my brain. Anyway, I'm so excited. Sorry, there's something on my laptop, which I hope it's not making you too shaky because I had to scratch it off or I'd cry. Yeah, so I was just going through, looking at similarities, and eventually I'm just going to speed through this because in my head when I was putting this together, this seemed like a great idea, but this is the part that matters. So I had a few repeats that I wanted to address, and the first is the word choice, choices. And there are 3 cards that I have that I think of the word choice. Choice is one of the main words that pops up, but it's a little different. So the 2 of Swords, what choice, what decision are you going to make in it's not what decision you see. It almost seems more like it's an it's like forcing, which is so interesting because it's air and it's thoughts and it's blinding you because you got to stop looking at things and just go with what your gut says almost. So the 2 of Swords, I'm writing note down to myself, might be decision. It might be more of a decision than a choice. And then the 7 of Cups is choice overwhelm, which I feel like it's different than choice itself. So I feel like using both of those words is okay. And then the Lovers, that was giving me some trouble. So again, it's like in the reading, which of these pops up for you? Which, again, this is a beginner tarot book. I'm not a beginner tarot reader. So I have a few words that, depending on what's happening around a card, what is the picture on this deck for that card, that's going to change everything. Because when I filmed this before, I was like, I don't even know why I used choice. I think it was once said and it worked in a lot of readings, so this has become a card that leads to choice. Also, I know the history of, like, in some decks, there are 2 people and you're choosing between them, or you're choosing love over work or whatever. So I feel like, so I wrote self-love because that was also a keyword I had used for this like eons ago. And then looking at this card, I almost feel like it's an opening to love, or like the divinity in that openness of love, not necessarily romantic, because of the deer in the back. And why did I choose this deck? And this deck is in my collection because I've heard great things about its guidebook. And I really want to take time and work with the guidebook. And I thought working with it with Lisa's book would be a great way to kind of jumpstart. And then part 2 of this read with me is going to be with the Druidcraft tarot book, the guidebook. So I'm very interested in how the Lovers card develops through all these exercises, because I don't feel like I've ever been stumped. Like, I think when I first started tarot, it was one of my stumpers. But, like, until this moment where I'm like, what else would I apply to it? I haven't really felt stumped by it. But right now I'm just like, I don't know. But, like, in readings, I never feel that way. So it's just really interesting, and I'm excited to see if that develops into anything. Anyway, I totally plan on Sorry, there's like a piece of my hair on my sweater. What was I saying? I totally plan on checking in after, because my homework from this video will be to write on all of, I probably have court cards popping out because I haven't separated them out. Anything but court cards are going to be written on, and they're going to start being used, and we're going to see how they feel. And I'm going to continue to read. I have Post-its all over this now. Read this and work with the court cards as well. So those are like 2 homeworks. I have other things I'm doing for homework for me. So I can't promise when this is we're gonna continue, but that's okay, because this was always gonna be, we were always slowly devouring this book. Number 2 issue, collaboration. This is fucking hard. I've decided, that didn't make it in this. I haven't made a change here. And so again, I said I did this a few times. So I kind of don't want to change either of these as being collaboration. And I think it's because who's collaborating and for what. So that might be part of the card. I don't really need that because I know. But again, both of these cards, the jump off word for me is collaboration. Are you collaborating with your friends to have a good time, to celebrate something, or even work together to like achieve an end that you all want? The 3 of Cups, it's friends. The 3 of Pentacles, it's work. Sometimes they can intermingle, but the 3 of Pentacles, you don't necessarily know, unless you get them both in the same time. You don't really know the people you're working with personally. But the 3 of Cups, these are your people, you know them very intimately. And that's really the difference, is like the strangers or acquaintances adding what they excel in to reach the same goal as you, and you're working together, and you're all, because you know when people work together you get the best results. And again, with the friends, that might be an easier thing, or it could be a thing that leads to celebrations, or like it might be you're planning like a trip with your girls or whoever, like a trip with your friend group, the couples. Like that's a 3 of Cups. A work project is a 3 of Pentacles. A creative work project maybe, or like a side hustle, which could be with your friends if both cards are there, but most likely at least one person involved. Y'all don't know that well. And then finally was, I think I actually have one more after this. My nose is so itchy. That was a weird way to scratch it. Potential. So these both say potential to me. Oh no, that's gonna be, oh my god. We're gonna keep the 2 of Wands as potential, and the 7 of Pentacles is going to be harvesting. Because yeah, what is the potential of what you have left over, but like you're harvesting. I feel like that's still not a great word. I don't know. I feel like this one has room, because it's like you reap the growth and you have enough to sustain yourself, but you have enough to experiment. Maybe experiment. Experiment with excess? I don't know. That's a work in progress, and I'm okay with that. Again, how these words work in actually using the cards is really the key here. These are both movement to me, and the 3 of Wands is... 8 of Wands is just like straight up movement. Like things are going to happen fast. Messages, like vroom, vroom, vroom. It's kind of like fast forward. Three of Wands is you sent something out and you're waiting. Like, you've put your creativity into the world. You're waiting for it to return. You're waiting to see what it does. I keep saying the word waiting, and I put down the word aspirations. So maybe those are two words that I will have to reflect on. But I think, yep, thank you. So thank you for being a part of this. I'm sorry it was a little chaotic, because I tried to do this a few times, so I feel like that made it a little more weird. But thank you for joining me on my journey with this book. Let me know, are you going through this book? What are these keywords for you? What are the cards that you're having trouble with? But yeah, that is all I have to say for now until I check in again with this book, or if you're liking some of the other series I'm doing, let me know, because I'm liking them. April kicked my ass. So I hope you have a wonderful day, week, whatever. Until next time.